Hello and welcome to Two Queens, Two Crowns. I'm your host, KJ Miller, founder, lecturer, and content creator. And tonight is a Queen Things episode. I'm excited to get into it. We, of course, are going to dig into the comments from our last episode about Catilin Clark and Angel Reese. Spoiler alert, they're crazy. Oh, the comments are crazy, y'all. I almost don't even want to read them out loud, but we're going to dig into them, and we're going to dig a little bit more into that whole saga because I didn't even realize this. Catilin and Angel played again this weekend. Here I am talking about, I wish I could see them play. They played again, and yes, I missed it, but we're going to dig into all of that. Then we're going to get into a few updates, one involving, yes, Taylor Swift again. I don't know how this woman keeps staying in the news, but as long as she's in the news, I'm going to talk about it. And then, as always, we're going to end with our parking lot. So, you're not going to be here for a long time, but you are going to be here for a good time. Let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, we have to talk about the Catilin Clark, Angel Reese episode and the comments from our social clips. Now, mind you, last week was my birthday, so I was I was on my birthday behavior. And I didn't get a chance to post as often as I typically do. In fact, up until yesterday, I think I had only posted one clip about Catilin and Angel. And that clip over on TikTok, the trolls found it. The racist trolls found it. Now, let me describe the clip just so you know what we're talking about. In the clip, I'm telling Adrian about how the narrative that has developed around Catilin Clark and the WNBA is basically that it's Catilin versus everybody, and that everyone's coming for her. Everyone's, trying to foul her and hit her and harm her and bruise her and everything else. And basically that if you read women commentators, particularly black women commentators, but even white women commentators from what I've seen, most of them have said, no, you can relax. She doesn't need to be coddled. She doesn't need some sort of special protection. This is how it goes down in the WNBA. However, there are a lot of other commentators, mainly male commentators, saying, protect Catilin at all costs. You have to protect your prized possession. If you don't protect her and she gets injured, you're going to lose all of your viewers, so on and so forth. Okay. And I ended by saying there is this historical American need to coddle white women, even though Catilin Clark is saying, I don't need to be coddled. Like, I signed up for this game. Okay. That's the clip. Well, the racists didn't like that. They did not like that. So let's just dig into some of these comments, shall we, folks? Okay. So this is from someone named Lauren L. Swearingen. She writes, another anti-white racist video by jealous hypocrites. Okay. Nothing anti-white here. First of all, America's love for coddling white women is well documented, okay? That is not anti-white. That's just facts. And I don't have the time or the inclination to teach you your own history, but it is facts. And I responded to that one saying literally nothing anti-white about this video. I'm saying Catilin is a strong player in a rough league who doesn't need to be coddled, okay? So, all right. Then we have someone named Sharon. Her username is Sharon's Creations. American need to coddle a white woman. What a ridiculous statement. God help the way y'all talk about people. The WNBA has lost money for years, so I guess the white chick has saved you hateful people. Ooh, Sharon's mad. Do you see? Now, what about what I said? Warranted people coming in my comments speaking this way. I'm hateful, save you hateful people. Nothing I said even was hateful. I actually am trying to give this woman her props. Y'all are trying to act like she needs to be babied. I'm trying to say she is a strong player who doesn't need to be babied. A strong player who signed up to play in a rough and tumble league. Now, if we want to say the league in general needs to be less violent, less physical, everything else, I can get behind that. I'm not a basketball person. I'm not a sports person, but I see no problem with people saying, let's just generally be less physical. Let's all try to foul people less. Great. I love it. But one thing that I have uncovered after I started reading through all these comments is, according to NBC News, with nearly 1/3 of the WNBA season done, Clark has been fouled 46 times, the third most in the league. Okay? She's been the third most fouled in the league. Now, Based on the way all these articles are being written, you would have thought she was the most fouled by far. No, she's the third most. If we continue reading the same article, NBC says, Clark isn't only being fouled, though. She's doing it a ton herself. The WNBA Rookie of the Month for May has been whistled for 32 personal fouls, fourth in the league. Okay, so she's the third in the league for being fouled, the fourth in the league for fouling others. This is a physical player in a physical league getting fouled and fouling others. Which is why, again, I say she does not need to be coddled. Which is why you have all of these women commentators who have been watching the WNBA for years and years saying she does not need to be coddled because she isn't special. There isn't some special amount of harm coming her way. Maybe you could say a little bit of hazing because she's the newbie and the glitz and the glamour, but the reality is this is the game. That's simply the point that I was making. But let's get back to these comments, shall we? Okay, another winning comment from somebody named David Nugent. Racism is not going to work against Catilin Clark. He misspelled her name, by the way. I did not. She has way too much black power backing her. LeBron, Serena, Charles Barkley, etc. Stop trying. Go hide back under your rock with your racism. People, what are we... And do you see how racism kills your brain cells? First of all, this was not a cohesive point. What was your point? Are all black people racist that need to go hide under a rock? Are some black people good black people like LeBron and Serena and Charles Barkley? What's your point here, David Nugent? And this is why racism doesn't pay, because you end up on the internet sounding dumb, David Nugent. Someone else named Dinky Shackleford saying she's been fouled more than any other rookie this year, which, as I just stated, is not true. At least according to NBC News, she's the third most fouled and the fourth most given out fouls. Bill Billingsley 8 asking, why do you hate her? I don't hate her. And I don't even know where that is coming from, even in this short clip. Because I know sometimes people don't like the fact, podcasters don't like the fact that people hear a clip of the podcast on TikTok or on social media and come to a whole conclusion and they feel like you need to watch the whole episode. I don't feel that way, right? If I post something on TikTok, I can't expect, it's a 30-second clip. I can't expect that from that you're definitely going to go and listen to the full 45-minute episode. I can't expect that. So I do understand that the point that I'm making in the clip hopefully speaks for itself. I think the point that I'm making in the clip does speak for itself, and I do not think it in any way gives the impression that I hate this woman, because I don't hate her. I mean, I don't know her, but I certainly don't hate her. I literally said in the clip, she doesn't need to be coddled, and she agrees. What about that is giving hate? Oh, we're getting to the bottom of the barrel. We're getting to the bottom of the barrel with this. Someone literally commented, she's just better than Angel. Mind you, I didn't say anything about Angel Reese in this clip. So, whose racism is showing? Oh, a comment from somebody named Joe Mellinson 785 says they protect the main players in the NFL. The quarterback, they are a money-making league. So, and there was someone else in here who made a similar comment, basically saying you'll lose viewership if she goes down. It's because she's unique. The NFL already does it, protects the quarterback. So I don't know anything about that. As I have said before, I am not a sports person. So if the NFL does protect its quarterbacks, great, fantastic. If that means we need to start protecting all of the people who play in Caitlyn's position, whatever that position is, forward, I believe, great, fantastic. I'm simply saying, okay, and let me just say it louder for the people in the back. To me, it seems as though we have all decided that this woman needs special treatment, even though she does not believe she needs special treatment. If we think the game is too rough, fine. If we think everybody needs to ease up, fine. If we think Catilin needs to stop giving all these fouls as well as taking all of these fouls, fine. I support all of that, but I simply don't support the narrative that there is some reason why she needs to be protected at all costs over everybody else. They're all playing the same league, same sport, same game, okay? They're all taking the same risks. And she's not asking for special treatment, and I don't think she needs special treatment. If we want to clean up the game more generally, great. Have at it. I love it. Who wants to sign the petition? And that's what I have to say on that. I mostly wanted to read some of those comments out loud because it is just mind-boggling to me how quickly the racists love to come out on social media and on TikTok in particular whenever you mention anything about race. Something about a black woman just saying the words white woman triggers all sorts of people. And I don't know what to tell you about that. I'm never going to not speak my mind and speak my truth and call it how I see it. So, I just wanted to read these comments so y'all know what I'm out here dealing with on a daily basis on the tickety-tockety. Nevertheless, she persisted. Now let's get to some updates. As I mentioned at the top, our girl Taylor Swift is back in the news because Charlie XCX, who is an artist over across the pond in the UK, dropped her album last week. And even though it was predicted to go number one, it now is clear she did not go number one. Taylor's album, The Tortured Poets Department, is still number one. Charlie XCX didn't hit that number one spot in the UK, despite the predictions that she would. And a lot of people are blaming Taylor because she released additional variants of her album, basically that same week that Charlie's album was, quote unquote, supposed to go to number one. And now the people are all up in arms over all of these variants. How many variants does she have? The last count I saw, like where someone actually went one by one, was 34. I've seen other people on TikTok say she's up to 37. However, on thetab.com, this is the article that I read a little bit earlier, they give an exhaustive list of all 34 visions of Taylor Swift's album. This was released a week ago, and they literally go one by one, all through 34. Okay, so if she's up to 37, I don't know what the next three are, but 34 is a lot of variants. Okay, there's just simply no doubt about it. And as of now, Billboard does count all the different variants of your album towards the final number for its charts, right? So if someone downloads variant number 15 because it has the acoustic version of the song But Daddy I Love Him, that's going to count towards the overall chart number of, albums sold, units streamed, blah, 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 blah. It all counts. And so what people believe, and I mean, frankly, I think is probably true. What people believe is that Taylor is continuing to release all of these variants to help her chances of her album staying at number one for as long as possible. And I think that that's true. I think Taylor wants to be number one. I think she wants to be number one for a long time. We're at 7 weeks now of her album being number one. Maybe she's going for 10, maybe she's going for 20. I don't know. But I know she wants it to be number one. And yes, I believe she is releasing these variants with the goal of continuing to keep her album at number one. Now, as it relates to Charlie XCX, if you actually dig into the numbers, the variants were not necessary. Just the straight album in and of itself, the physical sales of the album plus the streaming of the album without all the variants, she still would have beat Charlie XCX, and that's 7 weeks out, okay? So now that we're actually really looking at the facts and the figures, the story's a little bit more embarrassing for your girl. I don't know if the Charlie XCX fans wanted us digging as much as we have now dug into these numbers, because it's pretty clear, even without all the variants, Taylor was still going to be on top. However, that's neither here nor there. I'm really not trying to shade Miss Ma'am. I don't know anything about Charlie XCX. I wish her well. I do understand people upset with all of the variants, all of the bonus tracks, all of the acoustic versions, all of the voice notes, the signed copies, the this, that, and the third, that are all being released with the goal of keeping her album number one. I do understand people being upset about that. And here's why. Taylor is already on top. If her album didn't move any units, she would still be on top in almost every way imaginable. She's had more albums at number one for longer periods of time. She's had the biggest tour of all time. She's the only artist in history to win Album of the Year 4 times at the Grammys. I mean, the stats on stats on stats, her legacy is cemented, okay? And she is in a different stratosphere as it relates to her music, her fandom, her streams, her album sales. She's in a different stratosphere. The woman is quite clearly on top. And so, for a lot of reasons, I think as humans, we tend to dislike when someone who is so clearly winning, someone who has so clearly won, continues winning. I get it. I do get it. I get that it just feels kind of icky. She's already won. She's already had the top selling tour. She just got Album of the Year, her 4th Album of the Year. She's already taken this many statues and awards and number ones. And okay, I get that. I really do. And I get that because that's just true, right? There is sort of this human need, human nature to balk against someone who's already winning more. To then see that person, quote unquote, gaming the system to ensure that they continue to win, that's when it really can start to feel icky. And I do get that. I really do. You know, if I weren't a fan of Taylor's, I could see myself, you know, kind of complaining as well. I don't know that I complain as much as some of the folks on the internet have complained because, I mean, my God, I have things to do. But sure, I could envision it. And you know what? Ultimately, I think this is something Taylor probably knows is happening, right? She knows people are having these conversations. People are going to fault her for wanting to be number one, for putting more releases out there and more variants out there for the specific goal of maintaining number one. She knows those conversations are happening. And she's already done the analysis in her little mind to decide, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because people are going to hate no matter what. People are going to hate on me doing anything, putting out 1 deluxe version, 12 deluxe versions, 1 vinyl, 8 vinyls. No matter what I do, the people are going to hate. The people are going to say I'm being greedy. Oh, she's still out on tour. She's still selling tickets to the tour. She had to release 2 albums, so she has 2 chances at a Grammy, another Album of the Year award. She had to do, you know, now she has 30 tracks on the charts. It wasn't enough to just have the first 15 tracks on the charts. No matter what, people were going to hate. And Taylor knows that. So I could see in her mind, her thinking to herself, if they're gonna hate anyway, I might as well let them hate while I'm cashing this check, okay? If they're gonna hate anyway, I might as well take that hate right onto the bank. I might as well break all these records. They're gonna hate anyway, so why should I let up? It doesn't matter what I do. They're going to hate. People are gonna talk a lot of shit. The fact of the matter is, if she hadn't released a single other variant, I don't think many of these artists who have released in the last 7 weeks would have gone to number one. I really don't. That's just a fact. So if she wants to release them, why not? She wants to keep that excitement out there. She wants every week or so to be able to say to her fans, here's another cool thing. Here's my acoustic version of this song. Here's my first draft voice note of this song. By the way, I haven't listened to most of the new things that have come out, all the acoustic versions, this, that, and the third. But when I saw there was a voice memo for Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, I did go watch that. I did go because I was like, oh, I'm interested. I wanted to see what that would sound like without all of the production. So it did feel like a nice, cool little thing for her to give her fans. And why not? Because like I said, people are going to hate anyway. Why not? If she wants to give people a little bit more, another sneak peek at a song, an acoustic of a song, whatever it is, why not? Some of us are going to appreciate it. Like I said, I haven't engaged with most of it before. The thing that I wanted to engage with when it came, I was excited about that. It didn't feel like a money grab to me. First of all, I didn't spend any extra money to listen to it. I went and found it on YouTube. It just it felt like a cool extra fun thing from Taylor to me that I got to engage with. And I don't know that we have to assume it's so much more than that. Yes, it's helping her stay on number one. Yes, being number one is important to her. But I think it is also important to her that she feeds her fans. I think she likes doing that. And I think her fans like to be fed. So I just can't hate on her for that. That's me. I can understand how other people do. I just personally cannot. Okay, and then quickly, the second update I want to give is actually back to Catilin and Angel, because as I mentioned, their teams did play on Sunday. Again, the Indiana Fever won. That's Catilin's team. And in this game, Angel Reese fouled Catilin Clark. And it was a flagrant foul, which I actually looked up. What does it mean to be a flagrant foul? A flagrant foul is a personal foul that involves excessive or unnecessary contact with an opponent that could injure the player. Now, I did watch the clip, okay? And in the clip, basically what's happening is, again, I'm saying all of this as a non-sports person. Basically what's happening is somebody's going to shoot the ball, okay? And Angel is trying to block the ball. So she goes to swat at it. And instead of hitting the ball, she hits Catilin. Basically like her arm hits Catilin's head. This was called a flagrant foul, and it did look like a pretty hard hit. It did. So certainly I understand it being considered excessive force that could have injured the player. Now, Angel, after the fact, of course it went viral. Of course, everybody was, all up in arms once again. Angel said afterwards, I was very much aiming for the ball, but I know you're going to play the clip 20 times and try and make it seem like I was aiming for Catilin. And of course, that's what everybody did. But it does, to me, as a non-sports person, look like she's trying to swat at the ball, not at Catilin's head. And by the way, there were like a lot of people jumping up at the same time. There were hands kind of flying. I mention it because it just seems to me like this is going to happen. Like when a lot of people are aiming for a singular object and all of those people are running fast and all of those people are very strong, physical contact is going to be made, and sometimes it's going to land on the rookie of the month, the rookie that we all love, the most important rookie in the league, which is how we're referring to Catilin, and I'm fine with that. She's very, very talented. Sometimes those limbs are going to come down hard on various people, including Catilin Clark. It's just when I go and I watch these clips, I'm like, yeah, this looks like everybody playing hard. And people getting pushed and prodded and hurt in the process. So I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up to say it happened again. Catilin got fouled again. Once again, she walked off the court just fine. She scored plenty of times in that game, and her team won. And everybody went home okay. So it seems to me she's going to be all right. She's going to be all right. And we don't have to pretend like it's Catilin versus everybody. We don't have to. Okay? All right. That's the second update. And that brings me to the parking lot. Now for this week, I wanted to share a little bit of birthday wisdom. Yes, I did just celebrate my birthday on June 14th. I am now 38 years old. Yes, 38. And I'm very proud of that, okay? I'm not one of these women who doesn't want to say her age out loud. I have worked for these 38 years, okay? And I actually just made a YouTube video sharing some of my top lessons learned over the course of my birthday. So if you'd like to watch that video, you can head over to YouTube. My handle is I am KJ Miller. But I will share just one of the nuggets with all of you, which is to do the thing that scares you. This is a lesson I feel like I have learned several times over in my life. Every time it kind of rears its head again, and I'm reminded to do the thing that scares me, I'm so grateful because so much growth comes as a result. I'll give an example. This is actually a different example than I shared on my YouTube. When it came to the end of last year and my business looked like it was fully going to shut down, and I had been trying to make it work with a specific person, a specific partner, and that partner ended up being a terrible person in every way. And I was so scared to walk away because I felt like if I walk away, I have nothing. This person at least has something. I have nothing. But I realized this person was, again, terrible, was lying to me, was jerking me around, and that I was better off with nothing than with that toxic situation. And even though it scared me to death, I walked away, and I am in a much better position, and Minted is in a much better position as a result. So sometimes you just, you gotta take the leap. You gotta jump off the cliff, as they say. Now, I'll issue this caution. Sometimes things are scary to you because your body's trying to tell you, sis, run away. Run. Back away. Get out of there. Danger, right? Like, fear does serve a purpose, and it doesn't always mean run towards it. But sometimes I have found that what feels like fear is actually a little bit of a premonition that there's something better on the other side. Like, you've got to work through this scary part because there's something better on the other side. Now, I can't decide for you which type of fear you're experiencing, okay? If you're experiencing fear, it could be the fear that's rightfully telling you to stay away. It could also be the fear that's alerting you something better is around the corner. So I don't know. I will just say, give it a chance doing the thing that scares you, because sometimes the thing on the other side is actually much better. All right, folks, that's it for this week. Be sure to follow us on TikTok at 2 Queens, 2 Crowns, and to check out the podcast on YouTube, 2 Queens, 2 Crowns. And as always, I would love for you to follow me on my personal social. I'm on TikTok at @IAM_KJ Miller and YouTube with the handle I am KJ Miller. See you next week.